In recent days, the US stock market has suffered a significant drop, largely due to the below-expected performance of technology giants. This weakening in shares of big technology companies has come at a particularly challenging time for the American economy, where a growing number of citizens are expressing concerns about their ability to pay bills and maintain their standard of living. The situation is more worrying than the 2008 financial crisis, with nearly 40% of Americans expressing concern about their finances. Let's explore the current context and its implications for the economic future. The current scenario: uncertainties and concerns. The current economic situation in the USA is marked by a series of challenges. The recent decline in the stock market is largely being attributed to disappointing earnings from big technology companies, which play a crucial role in the S&P 500 index. These frustrating results have negatively affected investor confidence and exacerbated concerns about the overall health of the economy. At the same time, inflation remains a pressing issue. Although prices are not rising as quickly as before, costs are still high and have a significant impact on family budgets. Food prices, in particular, have pressured many Americans to make difficult financial decisions, such as skipping meals to save money. The numbers are alarming. Compared to the 2008 global financial crisis, where 37% of Americans were worried about their finances, the current rate of 40% demonstrates an even more serious situation. American household debt reached a record $17.69 trillion, reflecting a 1.1% increase from the previous quarter. This debt growth is a worrying sign, considering many Americans are struggling to cover their essential expenses. The impact of high interest rates and credit. The relationship between rising interest rates and growing household debt is a crucial factor in this economic scenario. Many people are turning to credit cards to cover daily expenses, including food and essential services. The average debt balance on credit cards is reaching record levels, and many people's ability to pay their debts is declining. High credit card debt has significant implications. Those facing financial difficulties may quickly find their options drying up, especially in the case of unexpected emergencies. The growing dependence on credit is a sign that many Americans are struggling to maintain an adequate standard of living. The real estate market crisis. Another area affected by the current economic situation is the real estate market. Rising rents and high demand in southern U.S. cities, such as Nashville and Jacksonville, have resulted in a rising rate of evictions. The impact of the pandemic and the migration to more affordable areas have exacerbated this situation, leading to significant rent increases that outpace the earnings of local residents. These pressures on the housing market have led to a substantial increase in eviction rates, which have risen by up to 35% in some areas since the start of the pandemic. The situation is particularly difficult for low-income families who face a challenging and ever-changing rental market. The economy and performance of large companies. The performance of big technology companies has been a focal point of current economic concerns. The shares of these companies, which have played a fundamental role in the post-pandemic economic recovery, showed results below expectations, affecting the stock market as a whole. Investors are wondering whether these results could be a sign of a broader economic slowdown. Furthermore, the relationship between the stock market and overall economic health is complex. The stock market has been recording historic highs in recent years, but growing concern about the sustainability of these gains raises questions about the possible formation of a financial bubble. The impact of inflation and economic stimuli. Rising inflation and the economic policy response have played a crucial role in the current economic crisis. During the pandemic, Massive money printing and economic stimulus were used to support the economy. However, the amount of money in circulation and its impact on inflation have been sources of concern. Accumulated inflation of 30% has contributed to rising prices and the widespread feeling of economic hardship. The relationship between inflation and economic stimulus is complex, but the fact is that the cost of living is rising, and many Americans are struggling to maintain their standard of living. The role of economic policies and leaders. Current economic policies and the actions of political leaders have been the subject of intense debate. The Biden administration, in particular, has faced criticism over its economic approach and management of the inflation crisis. Discussions about the economy and stimulus policies are often polarized, and opinions about the effectiveness of these policies vary. The Harris administration, with its possible future candidacy, is also at the center of economic discussions. The impact of implemented policies and the effectiveness of crisis response strategies are issues that continue to be debated by analysts and citizens. The recession and the market crisis. There is growing concern about the possibility of a new recession or economic crisis. The historical pattern shows that the stock market, after reaching historic highs, can face significant declines, as was the case in 2001 and 2007. The current situation raises questions about when and how a possible crisis could unfold. Signs of a possible recession are evident in several economic indicators. The collapse of small financial institutions, the commercial real estate crisis, and the high default rate are all signs of economic fragility. Personal vision and the need for adaptation. Amid these economic concerns, it is important to consider individual perspectives and the need to adapt. The current economic situation demands a proactive approach and a resilience mindset. Maintaining a positive outlook and looking for ways to improve your personal financial situation are crucial. The idea of recreating yourself and seeking opportunities in the midst of challenges is a fundamental principle for dealing with the crisis. The ability to adapt and seek alternative solutions is essential to face the current economic situation. The future of the American economy. As we look to the future, the central question is how Americans will deal with economic change and uncertainty. The economy is undergoing significant transformations, and the traditional concept of the American dream may need to be redefined. The ability to deal with inflation, labor market changes, and economic pressures will require an innovative and adaptive approach. The focus should be on finding ways to improve personal and collective financial situations, seeking new opportunities and strategies to face economic challenges. In summary, the current U.S. economic crisis is complex and multifaceted, involving issues of stock market performance, high inflation, rising debt, and housing market pressures. The ability to address these challenges and find appropriate solutions will be crucial to the economic recovery and financial future of Americans. When we look at the current economic situation in the United States, it is difficult to ignore the alarming signs that emerge daily. The plunge in stocks, the disappointing performance of technology giants, and the worrying rise in unemployment rates paint a bleak picture. This scenario is not only a reflection of market volatility, but also an indicator of deeper financial problems affecting millions of Americans. On a personal level, many are struggling to keep up with their bills, and the impact of this struggle is vast and growing. Recently, a survey revealed that about 40% of American adults are worried about paying their bills, a number that surpassed the level of concern recorded during the Great Recession of 2008, when 37% of the population was worried about their finances. These numbers are alarming and reflect significant financial pressure that most citizens face. Rising costs of living, persistent inflation, and growing household debt are contributing to this state of widespread apprehension. Currently, U.S. household debt has reached a record $1.769 trillion, representing a 1.1% increase from the previous quarter. Although inflation has shown signs of slowing, this does not mean that prices are actually decreasing. They just aren't rising as quickly as they once were. The fact is that more than a quarter of Americans have had to skip meals due to high supermarket costs, and 80% of those surveyed have noticed a significant increase in prices. Many are now spending around 60% of their monthly income on essential expenses alone, leaving very limited room for other needs or savings. This financial stress is compounded by the fact that even though the economy is technically growing and unemployment rates are low, many people are struggling to keep their finances balanced. The situation is even more complex when we consider the high credit card debt, which now totals between $1.1 and $1.2 trillion. This means that many Americans are using their credit cards to cover basic needs, like groceries and utility bills, without being able to pay in full at the end of the month. This creates a dangerous cycle of debt that exacerbates financial pressure. It is undeniable that high rents have contributed to an increase in evictions, with an increase of 35% since the start of the pandemic. Cities that experienced a population boom during the pandemic, such as Nashville, Fort Worth, and Jacksonville, have seen significant increases in evictions, 31%, 25%, and 14%, respectively. These increases are the result of mass migration to more affordable areas, which in turn has inflated rental prices beyond local residents' ability to keep up. Furthermore, the massive printing of money during the pandemic, which led to a considerable increase in the money supply, is a significant factor in current inflation. Since 2020, it is estimated that up to 80% of all printed money was created in response to the crisis, resulting in an economic bubble that affects both the American and global economies. While America may seem relatively stronger compared to other world economies, the truth is that living standards and financial expectations are changing rapidly. This situation has caused a growing sense of despair and frustration among many Americans, and the concept of the American dream is being questioned more than ever. According to a Newsweek survey, 54% of Americans believe it is increasingly difficult to achieve middle-class status. The perception that the American dream is unattainable is reinforced by changing economic realities and a scarcity of high-paying jobs, especially for the younger generation who face a job market saturated with low-paying jobs and increasing automation. Vivian, a former Wall Street employee known on TikTok as Your Rich BFF, highlights that the traditional American dream is outdated. She states that we cannot use the same script that our parents used to live in today's world. Changes in the economy and rising costs of living make realizing old ideals increasingly difficult. What was considered normal for previous generations, such as buying a home, raising a family, and having a stable career, is no longer a viable reality for many. This feeling of disillusionment with the American dream is, in part, a reflection of changes in the housing market and economic expectations. The cost of living is rising, and well-paying job options are becoming increasingly scarce. The gap between wealth and poverty is widening, with the rich becoming richer and the poor struggling to keep their heads above water. The concept of poverty and broke is changing, and many who are struggling financially are facing significant challenges just to stay afloat. Furthermore, there is growing concern about the possibility of a new economic crisis. The market is rising, but we are also seeing signs that a correction may be approaching. Comparison with previous economic bubbles, such as those of 2001 and 2007, suggests that the market may be in a vulnerable position. Stock sales by billionaires and politicians, rising credit card prices, and the collapse of the commercial real estate market are all signs that the economy may be preparing for a significant slowdown. However, it is important to remember that economic crises are cyclical and inevitable. What really matters is how we prepare for these changes and how we respond to them. The key to overcoming these challenges is to maintain a positive and proactive outlook. Instead of focusing on difficulties and blaming external factors, it's crucial to focus on how we can improve our own situations and prepare for the future. I personally have seen this in my own journey. Over the years, I have attended countless business conferences and personal development events. These experiences have taught me that regardless of economic circumstances, how you choose to react and adapt to change can make a significant difference in your life. Instead of allowing yourself to be consumed by despair, it is vital to look for ways to reinvent yourself and continue growing. The concept of the American dream is changing, and life and work expectations are also evolving. In the past, success was often measured by the amount of material possessions you owned. Today, the focus is more on financial freedom and the ability to define your own path. If you're willing to adapt and explore new opportunities, it's still possible to achieve the kind of personal and professional success that aligns with your own values and goals. Therefore, instead of getting lost in a scarcity mindset, it's crucial to adopt an optimistic and practical approach. Set your goals, look for ways to improve your skills, and be open to new opportunities. While the current economic landscape is challenging, it also presents opportunities for those who are willing to adapt and strive. Finally, remember that real change starts with you. Instead of waiting for market or economic conditions to change, focus on how you can improve your own situation. Invest in your personal development, seek knowledge, and maintain a positive mindset. This can make all the difference in your journey to achieving your goals and overcoming the challenges that arise along the way. Furthermore, it is essential to recognize that the current economic situation is not just a matter of numbers and statistics, but also of feelings and perceptions. Financial insecurity not only affects your wallet, but also your mind and spirit. Many Americans are experiencing financial stress that affects their daily lives and emotional well-being. The feeling of insecurity can create a negative spiral where constant worry about money harms the quality of life and limits the ability to make rational and strategic decisions. In this context, the role of financial education becomes even more crucial. The ability to understand and manage your personal finances can be a significant differentiator in times of crisis. With the right knowledge, you can create a financial plan that helps you face challenges and seize opportunities. This includes learning how to control your expenses, save, and invest wisely. Financial education is not only a tool for economic success, but also a means of achieving greater peace of mind and personal security. Furthermore, the importance of having a growth mindset cannot be underestimated. Instead of focusing on obstacles, it's essential to take a proactive approach and look for creative solutions to financial problems. This may involve looking for new sources of income, developing skills that can increase your employability, or even creating your own business plan. Innovation and adaptability are valuable qualities in an ever-changing market. Diversification is also a key strategy for protecting your finances. In a volatile economic environment, relying on a single source of income can be risky. Investing in different assets, such as real estate, stocks, and even venturing into new sectors, can help create a financial safety net. Diversification can offer a way to cushion the negative impacts of an economic crisis and create opportunities for growth in different areas. It's also important to consider building an emergency fund. Having a financial reserve can be a crucial safeguard in times of economic uncertainty. An emergency fund should cover essential expenses for a period of 3 to 6 months and can provide the peace of mind needed to face unforeseen challenges. Having this financial security can reduce stress and allow you to focus on strategies to improve your financial situation in the long term. Finally, collaboration and social support are aspects that are often overlooked in discussions about personal finances. Sharing experiences and seeking advice from trusted people can offer new perspectives and solutions. Joining financial support groups or seeking guidance from advisors can be helpful in developing a solid financial strategy. Collaboration can also provide motivation and encouragement in difficult times. In short, facing the current economic crisis requires more than just traditional financial strategies. It requires a combination of financial education, adaptability, diversification, and strong social support. By developing these skills and creating a solid financial foundation, it is possible to not only overcome today's challenges, but also thrive in an ever-changing economic environment. It's a journey that requires patience, determination, and a positive mindset, but with the right approach, it's possible to turn challenges into opportunities and achieve lasting